Now, intentional, once again, not as though you had this full image from the get-go, but as you're moving forward, you're like, okay, let me add this, or something else came to you and you're like, oh, that would be perfect. Let me add this. Yeah, different colors, or what you just described as far as duality, like entering with our, base level thinking, if you will, but entering with our duality or dual mind and then exiting. And that just, I didn't know. Ooh, that's so good. Okay. So I don't know how much time we have, but I really want to dive into these other two, or at least one other one. So yeah, what can you tell us about this one here?
So this one is called prudence, right?
And
And if I could even relate it back to what we were talking about earlier, getting into art and making the decision to just do it.
yes.
When I think about this particular piece, you have dual doors, right? You have two doors that really symbolize a decision being made, right? So you have two doors that you can choose any side, and but whatever you choose has a particular impact or a particular consequence, good or bad, not necessarily like a bad thing, life choices, right? And even before we get to the doors, there's a step up. And so I put that there intentionally because I wanted to symbolize a decision. Now, this is not just an ordinary decision, and that's depicted in this particular piece. This is more so a decision that will have a far-reaching impact on something. And because it's an impactful decision being made, the step symbolizes the necessity to step up to some degree, to have more courage, to maybe be more responsible, to maybe take on more virtuous words I can't think of right now. But something is being asked of us to be greater than what we were. So as we take that step up, as we step up to the plate, right, and make that decision, we accept whatever comes with that decision, and we weigh our options. We weigh the risk, the reward. We weigh everything that goes into these decisions that are being made, and thus the word prudence, right? Like intentional, sound decision making. And at every step of our lives, we make decisions. From minor to major. What we're wearing today, what we'll do today, all the way up into where will we take our career? What do we want to be? What type of artist we want to be, right? And this particular piece is really like just capturing the act of decision making. Plus, I'm a Libra, you're a Libra too, right?
I'm a Libra. Did we not know this? We got two Libras here? No wonder. Look, so many questions answered. Okay, I know.
That
The
scale.
balance. Yes. Yeah.
Yep. So weighing that, just weighing options on that scale, and even decision making being a very Libran trait I've come to find out, making sound decisions. So how I grew up and how I was raised, I try to be responsible with my decision making, and I feel like I've done pretty well up until this point. And looking at all of the decisions over time accumulated and seeing where I am now, I can say that I've been acting with prudence.
Right. What makes a decision, I'm kind of linking this to like the duality in a way, but what makes a decision feel as though it's pushing us out of our comfort zone, an uncomfortable feeling within us before we make that decision? Like what makes a big decision?
You have the minor decisions where, like, what are we going to eat today, right? Okay. And I mean, even that can have some pretty significant impacts depending on what you eat, right? So, how our decisions impact not only us too, because see, this is the other thing about being responsible. Our decisions, how our decisions have an impact on us and the environment around us, because I think that's one thing that begins to, or one quality that begins to differentiate a person from a child or from a youth to adulthood, where
like immaturity,
maturing,
becoming
yes,
more mature,
progressing, and kind of like a rite of passage situation again. But children tend not to necessarily have an awareness of their impact around them or how things kind of ripple around them. It's like more so the focus, the sense of self is on them. Everything is generated towards them. Even if something happens and they're not the cause of it, they'll think it's because of them. Like, oh, well, you know, my mother and father got a divorce. It has to be because of something I did.
Yeah, full speed. Gotcha.
As we grow up, I realize we begin to have a dynamic where we're more aware of the ripple effect, meaning whatever we choose or whatever we do, we can tell that the impact not only affects myself, but it may affect you, it may affect our family, and then we begin to make decisions based on how it will affect those people as well.
Right.
You know, that's responsibility. And that's the part where, as a child, it's like, I don't want to be responsible. I just kind of just want to do my thing and I don't want to worry about none of that. But, you know, if we are to move into a certain space within our lives, certain decisions and certain junctures require us to be more responsible.
Right. Absolutely. And that's so spot on. And it is right on time because me and some friends, we were talking yesterday and we were talking about responsibility. And responsibility doesn't have to be like hard or boring, you know, but it is something I feel like responsibility will bring out the best in one because you're now connecting to what you said and connecting to prudence. You are now owning your position, owning up to your duties, and you know that your decisions are going to impact others too, because you're responsible for them or you're responsible for fill in the blank. And it looks very different from that angle. So I feel like being responsible puts you in a different seat of being a creator because now you can create, like, I'm thinking of Respect the Artist, which is my community. And it allows me to be creative with responsibility, you know? And so, like, again, something like being responsible and stepping up doesn't have to be so intimidating and super scary. But when it is, it's pushing you out your comfort zone and you need to, like, evolve, you know, perhaps. So, so good.
We want,
So good.
and it's, you know, I was talking to my friend about this earlier. You know, we want uncomfortableness. You know, we may not say that, but if we want to grow, we have to embrace being uncomfortable. So,
Well, we get that. We understand that. But I like how you said it. We actually want that. It's a part of who we are. And that's gold. I feel like, yeah, someone needs to catch that. That's really good because it is I feel like it's when you know you hear about or perhaps you've talked about being in flow. That flow is your natural state. You like it's natural to actually want to move and not be stagnant. I'm gonna shed a
it's
tear.
there.
That's
Yeah.
so good. Though.
I'm
mean,
not,
like,
listen,
that is so good.
these are things that I just think about at home. And sometimes, like, I'll have revelations myself and I'll shed a tear just off of just being honored to be able to have this enlightenment and have this understanding that I have at this moment. Like, because that's not, we don't, and that aha moment is not an everyday occurrence.
Right.
So when it
It's big.
comes,
It's
it's like
big.
a visitor that's coming
Yep.
and you got to, like, oh, make space for it. Okay.
Spiritual awakening, y'all. That's like a real
It
thing,
really
okay?
is.
Because when you hear it, when you sense it, when you know it, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're convicted.
Yeah,
It's like
and
you
then your
can
skin
feel it.
starts glowing. So
Right.
watch for it and wait for it. So good. Okay, so tell us a little more about what you're moving into now. Like, first of all, we already know how to keep up with Jordan on IG, so y'all make sure you follow him. So, yeah, following you, not only that, keeping in touch. What's next? Tell us about that. What's next for you?
So right now we are currently working on a art exhibition in Detroit that I'm curating with my team, and it's called Conversations in Color. And we're looking to feature about 10 plus artists and vendors in Royal Oak, Michigan, to be specific. Within that, we'll have you know, performances and some live entertainment and things like that. A DJ, host, all that good stuff, food. So if you are in the Detroit area, I recommend for you to come out, have fun with us. Again, March 30th, starting at 3 p.m. So that's 3:30, and then I have another show coming up. I'm a part of the Black Boy Art Show in Atlanta. Yep. Yep. So that one is on April 28th. in Atlanta, and I don't know the location as of yet, but tickets are on sale. So anybody that's interested can purchase tickets as of now. The early bird tickets are sold out. The Black Boy Art Show was really popular.
Okay, so you got the memo.
You might want to hop on that ASAP.
Okay. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. So if I'm completely brand new to you, it's my first time tuning into, might even be your first time tuning into Dream Aloud Art. Where should I start as far as your journey is concerned? Would that be to go to Instagram and say, okay, cool, this is where I learned the most about you? Where would I start?
So I would say Instagram. You can follow my art page at Fifth Wonder. So that's FIFWONDER. And once you log on there, you'll be able to access, my art. You'll be able to see my art. You'll be able to access my link tree, which has links to other things pertaining to what I'm doing. But I would start at IG. And yeah, got more information about the art shows coming up. You'll see the flyer as well. And yeah, you'll see everything that I'm working on.
Good. Okay. I love it. I'm with it. Jordan, yo, like this is so good. I don't know. And now I'm just hold on because we had to get all of that information out there so y'all know exactly where to go, where to start when it comes to Jordan. But I am going to pivot and of course we still have, I have a few more. You know my word game? Do you remember the word game that I usually do? Like a little sum at the end? Okay, so we still have that. So we're not at the complete end, okay? But we have this masterpiece behind us. So I do want you to dive into this one and start off with a title. If you do have a title for this.
I do. So that one is called Acceptance.
And you were just talking about acceptance earlier, weren't you?
Yeah, that one is
For
called
refraction,
Acceptance.
right? There were some glimpses of talking about acceptance. So this one, okay, let's do it.
So that one is called Acceptance. And again, it came along the lines of being in a particular point in my life, navigating a specific interaction, relationship interaction. And, realizing that there are points in times where there are points in times where things just don't work out. Right. And, depending on where you were with that person, that can be a pretty uncomfortable experience emotionally. You can go through heartbreak. You can go through so many emotions internally. And going back to prudence, right, how we handle those emotions and the decisions that we choose in those moments, or looking at it from a standpoint of accepting what is, right? Like when there's actually really nothing more that can be done in this situation, it's like, how do we move forward with this? Well, we move forward with just accepting it. At the base level, we can just accept it. Yes. And that's not easy to do.
It's not.
That's not easy to do at all. And, even acceptance within itself takes courage, because ironically, acceptance requires you to do nothing.
This why it's our Libra. It's like the Libra radar right now because I wrote it down. I didn't write that down, okay? But I wrote down what is acceptance. And so, well, go ahead, respond, and then you know what? I'm gonna make it interesting. I'm gonna write down a word, and I'm gonna see if Jordan actually says this word. So this is getting good. Okay, so what is acceptance?
Acceptance is embracing an experience for what it is without the desire to control or change the situation.
Well, why is that so hard?
And it's so hard. I'm glad that you asked.
I'm glad
it's so hard.
Ask. Yes.
When you think about it, when you accept something and you embrace what is, the only thing you're left with is what you think and feel about it. That's what you're left with. And that's the one thing that you do have power over.
Yeah.
You may not have power over what it is that you are accepting about a situation or about the situation itself.
Right.
But you have power over how you move, how you respond.
Yeah, absolutely. What energy you're going to give it. Now, the word that I wrote down is peace. And coming to, and the way I'm using peace is coming to like a neutral. All right. So if you're coming to a place of peace, at least the way I envision it, it's like when the dust settles. And the dust is settled now. It's just settled. Like it's not trying to do anything. Like nothing else can be done. It's just like a place of being very neutral. And I recently accepted a situation, and to be honest with you, I was like, I feel weird because I feel like should I be doing something? Should I be trying to make something happen? And it's like I just don't feel like there's more to exert here. That I need to take my energy, my thoughts, my emotions, and like start pocketing them in different places. I don't need to do that. At least in that situation, I was just like, I don't feel the need to do something else here. So acceptance, that's really big. That is so good.
On this whole like journey of acceptance, I do this thing with like my daily practice, my daily dance with acceptance. So, as of late, I wrote a couple blogs and
My
they
daily
kind of
dance
hit
with
on,
acceptance.
but every day is a choice to accept. So every day I have that thought: what am I accepting? What can I control today? What am I accepting today? And
Those are big questions to ask yourself.
listen, I've done some work.
Yeah.
Shout out to my therapist.
Too. Look, shout out to my
Shout out
therapist.
to
Listen.
Shell. Shell is my therapist. We have so many powerful conversations, similar to how electrifying our conversations are.
Yeah.
We reach different levels
So
of
healthy.
understanding it within that. But
Because that's healing. That's healing, y'all. Like a quick plug about the therapist, like that's healing if your intention is to work through it.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's so good. But those are big questions. Starting off your day. So yes, tell us a little bit more about the acceptance, the daily dance with acceptance, as you were saying. Asking those questions.
just think about it.
Yeah.
I just think how every day is something that, things are moving all day, every day. And every day we wake up, we have things that we have control over and we have things that we don't have control over. The things that we don't have control over, it's like, how can I practice acceptance so that when I'm in a situation on a day-to-day basis, so that when I'm in a situation where it's something that is difficult to accept, like something really big, because I've done the practice and the work on a day-to-day basis to build that internal muscle, it's not as difficult to accept the larger things on a grand scale, right? And so, we start small, going back to that first step by step, we start small and little by little, a little becomes a lot. And so if I'm practicing this every day, when it's showtime, right? When it's like the big acceptance, whatever that may be, that could be someone passing, that could be someone being sick, you being sick, that could be something really big. But because we've been here to a degree before, it's not as difficult to accept it. It still may be difficult.
That's right.
But it's not as difficult.
Yeah, no, that's really good. Ooh, I have so much to say about that. Okay, because there's a couple of examples, and I'm going to see if I could just share one example and call it a day. But they say that championships are not won on the major game day. It's every time you go to practice. It's how they're living their life before the big game. So by the time you get to the big game, you've done it a million times. Like Steph Curry, hello. Like these people, like, and he's a basketball player in case some of y'all don't know. But like you don't wait until the very last minute. There's a certain level of tolerance that's built before any other situation comes up that is perceived as bigger or just a bigger deal. Oh my gosh. So good.
Tolerance. That's a good word. I like that one.
Yes. Okay. So, all right. So the daily dance with acceptance, is that one of several things that you kind of kick your day off with as far as internal questions are concerned, or do you have other practices?
As of late, acceptance has been like the primary.
Okay.
But it changes in different seasons, to be honest.
As it should. As it should. That's a good point too.
Right now, I would say acceptance is what I focus on daily, and that's really the biggest thing. But in the past, it has definitely been things such as prudence, making conscious decisions every day, small decisions to the larger decisions.
Yeah.
And just getting better at that, like I said, because as a child, I look back on certain decisions I made, and I'm like, I could have made a better decision.
Sure.
And it had impact in the future too. So, as of right now, though, acceptance is
Okay.
primary thing.
Having to do with acceptance, this is a deep dive question linking to all of these masterpieces, okay, all kinds of deep dive questions. You mention about accepting things that you can't control, okay? But how does one determine what they can and cannot control?
I would say
I got him, y'all. I got him. Okay.
it depends on, you have to look at what's in front of you. And depending on what is in front of you, thinking about how much power you have over the situation or control you do have within the situation. So let's say we're talking about, let's say a breakup, right? Because relationships is a pretty common thread that we all can relate to some degree. So let's say we have a relationship that may be in the phase where it could be ending. And we ask ourselves, what can I do to potentially salvage this relationship or potentially make this better if this is something that I want? And within that, they ask themselves that question and then kind of laying out what can be done. Okay, is there an apology in order? Do I need to take accountability for something? Do I need to own up to something that I may have done that impacted this person? Going back to our decisions, right, and how they impact other people. Is there anything that I can do on my end? And if the answer is no, then the only thing we can do, because the answer is never really no, because there's always something we can do, and it really
Oh my
is
goodness.
accept. So,
Oof.
but if there's no action that I can take, then the only action that's available to me in that moment is just accepting what is, because we can't control other people. So we may be owed an apology,
Right.
but maybe they don't think that.
Yeah.
I can't make them,
Yes.
apologize, but I can accept the fact that it is what it is.
It is what it is, and be at a place of peace and acceptance.
And building up that tolerance.
That is so good. Okay. Oh my gosh, we are on a roll because there's so much that's linked behind these pieces. First of all, getting to know you, getting to know your philosophy, getting to know your perspective on life, and then what can come out from that or what has come from that. And so, yeah, this has been absolutely incredible. Y'all, this is the first in-person interview.
I'm excited.
This one's so good.
It really
This is fire. You have definitely laid out a standard here, and this is a pretty high standard, so I'm with it. Okay, let's do some deep diving questions. And they're actually not deep, like we haven't already been doing deep diving questions, like clearly we have, but it's just filling in the blank, okay? So I'm going to just say a few words and you're gonna fill in the blank. And I only have 3, but I don't know, I might freestyle and come up with some more. But I'm gonna start with just the 3 that I have. So the statement is, I believe, fill in the blank.
I believe in miracles. I believe in miracles. And I can give.
Is there a story with that?
Yeah.
You better share the story.
I have several stories. And again, me and my friend were just talking about this. I'll give one very interesting one. So my father passed on 2/22/23 last year. And thank you. It's been a journey, I would say. And when it happened, it was unexpected. And so there was so much that had to be accommodated for, so much that had to be paid for. And I was living in Atlanta when it happened. And I had just came from an art show in Memphis. And so I had to abruptly go to Detroit where my family lives and just be with everyone. Yeah. And so, again, I had just spent so much money on the art show, preparing, getting there. Then I had to buy the plane ticket to get to Detroit and all that. So the funds wasn't funding as they were. And I'm like, okay, well, we're here now. And so we're dealing with this. The day after he passed, I was handling some business on the phone and it was something involving insurance. I can't remember what it was, but they were quoting me something and they were telling me the price that I would have to pay in order to get this thing going.
Yeah.
And the price that he gave me, I didn't necessarily have the money right then and there. Now, I'm at home in my parents' house on the phone with this person, and they're telling me the total price. So in my mind, as he's telling me the total price, I'm like, oh, okay, man. I don't necessarily have it right now. I just spent so much money, and I'm kind of going through that mental process, right? In that moment, I'm sitting on the couch, and a man walked up that I had no idea. I had no idea who he was. He pulled in the driveway, walked up to the door, knocked on the door. I opened the door, and he said, "Hey, I worked with your father. We were buddies on the job, and everybody at the job, loves him, and we're just sending our condolences. And I want you to have this." He gave me a card with signatures on it, and then they had cash in the card. And the cash that he gave in the card was the exact amount that the guy on the phone that I was on the phone with just quoted me for, to the dollar amount, to the T, the exact amount.
What?
And
Oh my gosh.
in that
Come
moment,
on. What are we saying?
in that moment, and this was something that I absolutely needed too. This
Oh
was
my
very
gosh.
important, a necessity.
Ah,
And
coming through.
in that moment, I'm on the phone with it. It was to the point where I had to put the guy on hold. I said, hold on, somebody's knocking on the door. And he heard me talking to the guy on the phone.
Yeah.
Heard me talking to this guy that came up to our door.
What?
And when I got, he gave me the envelope. I got back in and came back in the house, and I looked in it and I started counting it while I was on the phone. So I'm like, it's the exact amount.
Oh my gosh. Okay, clearly a miracle. Clearly to the T. Okay, that.
The exact amount. So when I say I believe in miracles, and I got so many other stories like that. So, my faith is very strong. And even Fifth Wonder, FIF, I use the acronym a lot because Fifth Wonder is spelled FIF,
Right?
Wonder.
Yeah.
And it's forever in faith. That's what that means.
Learn something new every day.
That's what Fifth Wonder means.
That is beautiful. It really is. Oh, you're giving me a lot to marinate on today, boy. That's. Woo. So I believe in miracles. Let me write that one down. Okay. All right. So the next statement, and thank you so much for sharing that story.
Oh, no problem.
That's powerful. I am absolutely certain that, fill in the blank. I am absolutely certain that, fill in the blank. And y'all can do this too while you're watching.
I am absolutely certain that when I take the next step, the path will appear. All I have to do is have the courage and the faith to just take it. I'm absolutely certain that when I take the next step, remember that Michael Jackson
That's right.
analogy I used, or that reference, it will appear. And I feel so deeply on that. I wholeheartedly believe that.
It's so true, y'all. You've been hearing us holler throughout this entire interview, y'all. It is true. And when I've spoken about artist confidence and the word confidence, the etymology of the word means with faith. With faith, C-O-N, like other words that begin with C-O-N. But confide, like that F-I-D, that's faith. So you're always moving with a certain belief, a certain mindset, no matter what anyone says, but you always are. But when you have these hesitant moments in your life where there's a part of you that knows you should, but you're hesitant to take action, that's when you got to reach into your little bag of the faith that you have and move. It's part of the process. Y'all,
Definitely.
Okay, look, it just got sunnier outside.
It just got brighter,
Come on,
right?
I know, right? Because the vibes. Okay. And the last one that I have is the truth is fill in the blank.
Ooh.
The truth is. Look,
Ooh, man.
look, come on out. I'm talking to Jordan DeLoach. I was not going to come
That's a
with
good
B
one.
game or C game. I had to come with my A game. The truth is, and again,
truth
y'all artists fill in the blank.
is-
The truth is.
The truth is unchangeable. The truth is indelible. The truth is
I'm with it.
it's permanent. There's a lie can change. Perception can be what it is.
Yep.
But the truth is constant.
It
It
is.
It is. It doesn't matter how we feel about it. It doesn't matter what we think about it. The truth is
And that's all. And that's all there is.
That's it.
Jordan. High five me. Yes! It has been a pleasure.
Likewise.
Having this conversation with you. And y'all, let me give a quick, another shout out and highlight here on Jordan is because I wanted to interview Jordan. So I reached out to him because I wanted to interview him, right? But then a little bit later, he hit me back and he's like, you know what? How about we do this in person? And it was like,
might as well.
Yes, and I had actually wanted that, but I didn't know where to start necessarily. I was like, so many options. And here we are.
Here we are.
Come on, I believe in miracles, y'all.
Really?
Ooh, holler.
Yeah.
Once again, y'all, make sure that you follow the brother, Jordan DeLoach, Fifth Wonder. Check the notes in the description and all that. We're going to make it easy so you know where to go. Support him on his journey, on his venture. Take a good look at these because these images need to be where you're at, okay? I love it. Jordan, thank you so much. And shout out to all the artists that have joined us here on Dream Aloud Art. And once again, here in Richmond, Virginia at the Institute of Contemporary Arts at VCU. It's good stuff.
Good energy.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed this conversation.
Yes. I feel like we're going to do it again. It's like an annual thing.
Yeah. We listen, we have to. It's
good. These conversations are necessary. They really are. And
they're
we need
refreshing.
It out there. Mm-hmm.
They're enlightening. Yeah. I live for these types of conversations.
Absolutely.
Because I leave and I think you said this. You was like, I feel like I run a marathon after this conversation.
I know. I'm so filled.
Yeah.
I'm just fulfilled, but I just feel very energized. And I think it's more so I'm ready to make sure that currency continues. In whatever form that looks like. I know I was like, man, I feel like I could go run around the block or something, right? But it's really that desire to make sure the energy continues and moves forward as it should. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Peace, y'all. Let me
Peace out.